Every goal needs a deadline. Without a timeline, goals become wishes. Whether it's 4 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, having a specific end date creates urgency and helps you structure your training. Welcome to the Rucker's Edge podcast, a show all about rucking that is designed to help you develop a rucking routine, lose weight, and ultimately gain your strength and energy back. Whether you're an office worker with lower back pain, a fitness first-timer, or a new parent trying to get back to your pre-kids weight, this is the show for you. I'm your host, Spencer. Thanks for tuning in. Last week, we talked about tracking your rucking progress, why it matters, what to measure, and how to use that data to improve your rucking. If you missed that episode, definitely go back and give it a listen because today's episode builds directly on those concepts. Today, we're expanding on the tracking foundation and diving into something that separates casual ruckers from serious ruckers, and that is goal setting. Not just any goal setting, but strategic, purposeful goal setting that will transform your rucking from random walks with weight into a powerful tool for personal transformation. Before we jump into the science and strategy of goal setting, let me share a quick personal story that illustrates exactly why this topic matters so much to me. When I got more serious about my rucking, I had absolutely no plan. Zero. I'd throw some weight into my old backpack, head out the door, and just walk. My only goal was, if you can even call it a goal, was to make sure I could finish whatever distance I set out to do without completely falling apart. And after doing that for about, 2 or 3 weeks or so, I realized that just finishing wasn't going to cut it long term. I needed some sort of a structure, I needed a direction, and I needed to set some real goals. That's when everything changed. I started setting specific measurable goals with clear timelines. My training became purposeful instead of just random walks. My progress accelerated dramatically. And perhaps most importantly, my motivation stayed consistent even when the weather sucked or I just didn't feel like going. The difference between randomly rucking and goal-oriented rucking is like the difference between wandering around a city without a map versus having GPS directions to exactly where you want to go. Both will get you moving, but only one will get you where you actually want to be. Okay, so let's talk about why have a goal. So why does goal setting matter so much for rucking? There are two main reasons, psychological and physiological. Let's break that down. Let's start with psychological. First of all, goals provide direction and motivation. Think about it. When you have a clear target, you have a reason to push through that discomfort. And trust me, there will be discomfort. Your legs will get tired, your back might ache, and your mind will try to convince you to quit. But when you have a compelling goal, something that, really matters to you, you have a strong why, you have a powerful reason to keep going. The strength of your why directly correlates to your likelihood of success. This isn't just motivational fluff. There's actually research backing this up. A study published in the journal Applied Sports Psychology found that athletes with clearly defined, personally meaningful goals showed significantly higher levels of persistence and performance compared to those with a vague or extremely impossible goal. So before you set any rucking goal, you need to do some deep thinking about why this matters to you. Is it for physical fitness, mental toughness, stress relief, preparing for a specific event or a challenge? The clearer and more personal your why, the stronger your motivation will be when things get tough. Goals also provide focus and purpose. So without clear objectives, it's easy to just wing it. And winging it leads to inconsistent training, plateaus, and eventually giving up. Clear goals help you tune out distractions and stick to a structured training plan. They turn random exercise into purposeful training. Okay, let's switch to physiological benefits. From a physiological standpoint, goals give you the structure you need for progressive overload, the fundamental principle for fitness improvement. Progressive overload means gradually increasing the demands on your body over time, whether that's distance, weight, pace, or terrain difficulty. Here's the key. When you have a specific goal, you can work backwards to create a logical progression plan. Let's say your goal is to complete a 10-mile ruck with 35 pounds in under 2 hours and 45 minutes. Knowing that end target, you can structure your weekly workout to gradually build up to that level of fitness. Maybe you start with 3-mile rucks at a comfortable pace with 20 pounds. Then you progressively add distance, weight, or increase pace over several weeks or months. This gradual progression allows your muscles, joints, cardiovascular system, and connective tissue to adapt safely, minimizing injury risk while maximizing improvement. Without a goal, you might randomly do 2 miles one day, 6 miles the next, and then skip a week. And then you're going to maybe try to do 8 miles with 40 pounds the following. That's a recipe for injury, inconsistency, and frustration. Goals also provide objective measures for tracking progress. Instead of a vague feeling about whether you're getting better, you have concrete metrics. Pace per mile, total distance, weight carried, heart rate recovery, or how you feel after a specific workout. This data becomes incredibly valuable for adjusting your training and staying motivated. Okay, so now that we've covered why we need goals, let's cover the types of goals you can set. Not all goals are created equal, and understanding these differences will help you choose the right approach for your current situation. There are 3 types of goals: process, performance, and outcome. Process goals focus on the actions you commit to doing consistently, regardless of performance or outcome. These are your habits and behaviors. Think like weekly or monthly timeframes. Some examples of process goals include, I will ruck twice per week for the next 8 weeks, or I will log every ruck in my training app or notebook, or I will do 10 minutes of stretching after every ruck. Lastly, I will ruck every Tuesday and Saturday morning at 6 a.m. Process goals are incredibly powerful because they're entirely within your control. You can't control whether you'll hit a specific pace on any given day. Maybe you're tired, maybe the weather's terrible, maybe you're fighting off a cold. But you can control whether you show up and do the work. The next type of goal is a performance goal. And these are about measurable improvements in your capabilities. So these are typically more specific and time-bound than process goals. So some examples are, I'll ruck 3 miles in under 45 minutes with 25 pounds. Or I will increase my ruck pace from 17 minutes per mile to 15 minutes per mile over the next 6 weeks. Performance goals are great for measuring progress and preventing plateaus. They give you concrete targets to work towards and clear metrics to track improvement. The last type of goal is an outcome goal. Outcome goals are the big picture results you want to achieve. Usually they are long-term objectives that might depend on factors partially outside of your control. So some examples are, I'll complete a GORUCK heavy event. I'll lose 20 pounds in 6 months using rucking as my primary exercise. Or I'll pass the military ruck march standard for my age group. Or I will complete a 12-mile STAR course event. Here's the key insight. Outcome goals motivate, performance goals track progress, and process goals build consistency. You need all 3 working together, but the emphasis should change based on your experience level. So here's the $1 million question. What type of goal should you set? Well, let me give you the framework. Your goal type should evolve as you develop as a rucker. If you're new to rucking or just coming back after time off from an injury, process goals should be your primary focus. At this stage, the most important thing is building consistency and developing safe habits around frequency, recovery, and proper form. My first real rucking goal was simply to ruck once per week for 4 months. That's it. I didn't worry about the speed or the weight. I just focused on showing up consistently. You know what? That simple process goal built the foundation for everything that came after. Other beginner process goals might be, ruck for 20 to 30 minutes twice a week, or complete every planned ruck session for the next month, or do basic mobility work after every ruck. Once you're comfortable with the basics, you can ruck a few miles without pain. You know your gear set up and you've been consistent for 6 to 12 weeks. You're ready to measure progress and push beyond just doing it. This is where I currently am now. My current performance goal is to complete a 4-mile ruck with 20 pounds in under 60 minutes. Specifically, I'm targeting a sub 15-mile pace per mile. This gives me something concrete to work towards while still maintaining my process goals of consistency and proper recovery. Other intermediate performance goals might include progress from 3 miles to 6 miles with 25 pounds over 8 weeks. Improve average pace from 17 per mile to 15.5 minutes per mile. Or complete trail or hill rucks without dropping pace significantly. Advanced ruckers can chase outcome goals. If you're already consistent, tracking performance improvements, and looking for a bigger challenge, outcome goals become appropriate. These are the goals that inspire long-term commitment and provide structure for serious training cycles. Examples include complete a GORUCK event or achieve and maintain a specific body composition using Rucking as the primary tool, or pass a military Ruck standard. The key is having a strong foundation of process and performance goal before chasing these bigger outcomes. So, in summary, start with process goals to build habits, add performance goals to measure and improve, and then chase outcome goals to test yourself with big challenges. Now that you know what type of goals to set, let's talk about how to design them effectively. The gold standard for goal setting is the SMART method. You've probably heard about this, but let me walk you through how to apply it specifically to Rucking. So SMART's an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Beginning with specific. Your goal should be crystal clear, leaving no room for interpretation. Instead of, I want to ruck more, a specific goal would be, I will ruck for 3 miles with 25 pounds twice per week. The more specific you are, the easier it is to create a plan and track progress. Measurable. You need concrete metrics to track progress. This could be distance, weight, time, pace, frequency, or even subjective measures like pain levels or energy after rucking. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. We talked about that in last episode. A stands for attainable. Your goals should stretch you, but still be realistic based on your current fitness level, available time, and life circumstances. Setting a goal to complete a 12-mile ruck in 2 hours when you're currently struggling with 3 miles is setting yourself up for failure. Your goal needs to be relevant, so the goal should align with your bigger why and your current life situation. If your ultimate aim is stress relief and mental health, a goal focused purely on speed might not be the most relevant choice. And lastly, time-bound. Every goal needs a deadline. Without a timeline, goals become wishes. Whether it's 4 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, having a specific end date creates urgency and helps you structure your training. Let me give you a real example of transforming a vague intention into a SMART goal. So, a vague one would be, I want to get better at rucking and maybe lose some weight. A SMART goal would be, I will complete a 5-mile ruck with 30 pounds in under 1 hour and 30 minutes by December 1st. Rucking twice per week and tracking my pace, weight, and how I feel after each session. You see the difference? The SMART version gives you everything you need to create a training plan and track your progress. This framework isn't just for fitness. You can apply SMART goals for any area of your life. You want to be debt-free? Instead of, I want to pay off my debt, try, I'll pay off $15,000 in credit card debt by March 1st by allocating $1,200 a month from my budget to debt payments and tracking every payment. Okay, I want to take a quick break right here before providing some additional goal examples to say thanks again for listening to the podcast. If you found this episode helpful or interesting so far, please click the follow button in your podcast player so you're notified of new episodes. Also, if you know someone thinking about starting rucking or would benefit from rucking, please share this episode with them. It might give them the motivation they need to get going. All right, back to it. All right, let me give you some specific examples of SMART goals for different experience levels. Notice how each one is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. All right, starting with beginners. I'll give you 3. The first one, I will complete a 3-mile ruck with 20 pounds in under 60 minutes by the end of 8 weeks. Example number 2, I will ruck for 30 minutes twice per week every Tuesday and Saturday morning for the next 6 weeks without missing more than 1 session per week. Number 3, and the last one, I will complete 4 consecutive 2-mile rucks with 15 pounds at a comfortable conversational pace by November 30th, focusing on proper posture and foot placement. Okay, moving on to intermediate level ruckers. 3 more for these. First one, I will ruck 5 miles with 25 pounds at a 50-minute pace by March 15th. The second one, I will progress from my current 3-mile distance to 6 miles with 30 pounds over the next 10 weeks. And the last intermediate goal, number 3, I will complete a specific local trail 4-mile loop with 25 pounds in under 75 minutes by January 31st. Now here are 3 SMART goals for advanced ruckers. First one, I will successfully complete a GORUCK Tough event by June 1st, 2026. The second one, I will complete a 12-mile ruck march with 35 pounds under 3 hours by September 30th. And the last one for advanced ruckers, I will pass the U.S. Army 12-mile ruck march standard for my age group by December 15th. And going a little further, just remember that not every rucking goal has to be about speed or distance. Here are some meaningful SMART goals focused on other outcomes like mental health, weight loss, social connection, and adventure. So let's do mental health. Here's one for mental health. I will ruck for 45 minutes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning for 12 weeks, tracking my stress levels on a 1 to 10 scale and mood before and after each session. Here's a goal for weight loss. I will lose 15 pounds by April 30th by rucking 3 times per week for 45 to 60 minutes each session, weighing myself weekly and tracking calories burned. Here's one for social connection. I'll join my local rucking group and attend at least 3 group rucks per month for the next 4 months to build community and accountability. And the last one, adventure. I will explore and complete all 8 trails in my local area with a 20-pound ruck by the end of the summer. Okay, so that's a wrap on today's deep dive into rucking goals. I hope this episode gave you the framework and motivation to take your rucking to the next level through strategic, purposeful goal setting. Remember, the difference between ruckers who see dramatic improvements and those who plateau is simple: clear goals, consistent action, and patient progression. If you haven't already, hit follow on your podcast player so you don't miss an episode. And if you know someone that could benefit from rucking, please share this episode with them. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of The Rucker's Edge.